So, you know that feeling, right? That weekend, hyper-focused vibe coding session where you build something genuinely amazing in just a few hours.
Oh, yeah. Ideas just flowing, code pouring out.
Yeah,
It's like magic.
pure magic. But then Monday morning hits, and bam, you're staring into this huge abyss between your brilliant prototype and, well, an actual production-ready system.
That chasm.
Yeah.
Where so many great ideas kind of go to die in refactor hell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the specific pain Kiro promises to, well, eliminate.
It's such a universal developer experience, isn't it? And it's precisely why we're diving deep into Amazon's brand new Kiro IDE today.
Yeah. Hmm.
This isn't just, another AI coding tool popping up as a pretty quiet launch, but it could fundamentally change how we bridge that really critical gap.
Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. Our mission today, unpack Amazon's new Kiro IDE. It's an AI-powered environment, and it's designed specifically to turn those quick, maybe messy prototypes,
The vibe code ones.
yeah, the vibe code ones, into robust, production-ready applications. And it's leveraging the power of Claude 4 Sonnet.
Which is significant in itself.
We'll explore its unique approach, its core features, and, what it actually means for your workflow day to day.
It really aims to solve what might be the biggest headache in modern development, right? How do you keep that initial burst of creative vibe coding energy going?
Right.
While also building something that's scalable, reliable, and actually ready for the real world. Kiro's ambition there is pretty revolutionary, I think.
Okay, so let's start with Kiro's foundation then, this idea of spec-driven vibe coding. What exactly is vibe coding and why build a whole IDE around it?
Well, vibe coding is that incredible flow state. You're prototyping super rapidly,
Yeah.
building features almost instinctively.
By feel.
By feel, exactly. Iterating quickly without getting bogged down in formal specs or heavy documentation right at the start. It's incredibly freeing for that initial creation phase, like a sculptor quickly molding clay.
Right, and the problem is most platforms that are great for that, think Replit, CodePen, even some existing AI tools, they're fantastic for the burst, for proving a concept works.
But when it's time to go to production, they often just fall short. You end up with this cool proof of concept that basically needs a full rebuild to meet enterprise standards. It's a massive time sink.
It really is. So Kiro's unique approach is tackling this head-on with something called Kiro Specs.
Kiro specs,
Right?
okay.
Yeah. So instead of documentation or architecture planning being an afterthought or, something you impose later,
Right.
Kiro actually helps you plan and understand your application architecture as you build. It integrates structure right into the creative process itself.
Okay, that's a really crucial distinction. So it's not about making prototyping more rigid or formal.
No.
It's about making the formal development process more intuitive, kind of maintaining that speed.
Exactly.
But here's where it gets really interesting. It's powered by Claude 4 Sonnet. Now, for anyone following the AI space, Claude 4 is widely seen as a kind of gold standard for code quality and understanding among the big language models.
It has that reputation, yeah.
Yeah.
For good reason. So integrating that level of AI intelligence directly into your IDE from day one, that sounds like a serious game changer.
It really could be. The precision, the longer context window Claude is known for, and just its contextual understanding,
Yeah.
that could dramatically improve the quality and, importantly, the relevance of the AI-generated code and the suggestions you get inside the IDE. It positions Kiro less as just a code completer, like autocomplete on steroids,
Right.
and more as a genuinely intelligent, deeply embedded coding partner.
It makes me think about the tools you're using right now. Like, are you mostly using Copilot, or have you been exploring some of these newer alternatives that keep popping up?
It's a mix, always experimenting.
Because having Claude 4, which is known for grasping the nuance of complex code bases inside an IDE specifically built for rapid development, that feels like a potentially powerful combination. Okay, so how does Kiro actually, pull this off? Let's break down the key features that supposedly make this more than just another AI assistant. First up, Kiro Specs. You said this isn't just automated documentation, it's almost like automated architecture. As you're coding, Kiro is analyzing your code in real time.
Yeah, dynamically inferring and actually creating your architecture map. It's sort of like having a senior architect looking over your shoulder, maybe providing insights,
Okay.
but, hopefully without the judgment.
Ah, right. The silent partner.
The true insight here isn't just, integrated planning. It's maybe the elimination of documentation debt. Think about that.
Explain that.
Well, you're no longer stopping your creative flow to write docs, right? The AI is dynamically inferring and creating that architecture map as you code.
While you're in the zone.
Exactly. It transforms documentation from this chore you do later into a real-time byproduct of creation. It's capturing your intent, your architectural decisions, right when they're made, not months later when you've completely forgotten why you did something a certain way.
That's a powerful way to put it. We've all been there, haven't we? Looking at our own code months later and thinking, what on earth was I thinking? Kiro aims to fix that.
Well, hopefully.
Okay, second feature, hooks integration. This sounds like where the rubber really meets the road for production readiness. Kiro can apparently help automatically integrate things like proper lifecycle hooks, robust error handling, other critical production stuff.
Yeah, this directly targets that massive pain point we talked about earlier, turning a working prototype into something truly reliable and robust without starting over. So instead of manually configuring, say, specific lifecycle hooks for your serverless functions, like adding pre-warm events or ensuring you have proper graceful shutdown handlers.
The tedious stuff.
The tedious but essential stuff. Kiro aims to automatically scaffold these based on the context of your code. The goal is less time retrofitting those crucial, but let's be honest, kind of boring production-level features.
I swear the amount of time I've personally spent battling logging configurations or setting up graceful shutdowns or just trying to add decent error handling to a fun weekend project, it feels like it could fund a small startup.
Yeah.
Kiro, promising to automate that part. It almost feels like a developer's fairy tale. Like, too good to be true, doesn't it?
It does feel like that, and that's precisely the holy grail, isn't it?
Right.
We all know that feeling of spending like 80% of our time on the 20% of code that's boring but crucial.
Absolutely.
If Kiro can genuinely shift that ratio, even a bit, that's where the real magic happens for productivity.
Okay. And third, the advanced Claude 4 integration. You mentioned this goes way beyond simple autocomplete.
Right.
We're talking about an AI that supposedly understands context deeply, can suggest architectural improvements, maybe even help debug complex logic across a larger code base.
That's the promise.
Yeah.
Claude 4 is known for its longer context window, right? Which means it can essentially see more of your project at once compared to some other models.
Okay.
So it might be able to suggest refactoring across different modules or even catch architectural inconsistencies that simpler models might just miss entirely.
That really elevates the AI then, from just being a coding assistant.
To a truly collaborative partner.
Yeah.
It's not just about writing code faster anymore. It's potentially about making better design decisions much earlier in the development lifecycle, which could prevent those costly, painful refactors down the line. It's really about AI helping developers think about code, not just crank it out.
That's a fascinating shift in perspective. So if you're listening out there, what's your biggest frustration when moving from prototype to production? Is it wrestling with the architecture, the tooling limitations, or maybe, like we've been discussing, just the sheer burden of documentation and all those boring but crucial production details? Where does the pain hit you hardest?
You know, this really isn't just another tool hitting the market. I think it represents a more fundamental shift in how we're approaching rapid development across the whole industry.
We are seeing this trend, aren't we? Where the line between prototyping and production is getting incredibly blurred.
Definitely.
Tools like, say, Vercel's V0 or some of Replic's recent updates, and now Kiro, they all seem to be trying to solve that same core problem.
Yeah, how do we keep the speed and the creativity of that initial rapid prototyping while somehow achieving the reliability and the structure you absolutely need for production-ready code? It's that sweet spot everyone's been chasing.
It really feels like Kiro has a genuinely novel approach to finding it, though.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because instead of trying to make prototyping more formal, which can kill the vibe,
Right. Bog it down.
Kiro seems to be about making formal development more intuitive. That spec-driven approach means you're not necessarily sacrificing structure for speed, you're potentially getting both intertwined from the start.
That feels like a pretty elegant solution to a long-standing dilemma in software engineering.
It could be.
And, like we touched on, the Claude 4 integration isn't just about spitting out code faster. It's about having this deeply integrated intelligence that can potentially help you architect better, refactor smarter, maybe even identify subtle issues in your design early.
Which means AI is becoming, or trying to become, a true collaborative partner in the design process itself, not just implementation.
That does raise an interesting question, though, doesn't it? Are we, as developers, ready for AI systems that don't just complete our functions, but actively influence our architectural decisions.
It's a new frontier of human-AI collaboration for sure.
Mm.
And it kind of pushes us to rethink the role of the developer in some ways.
Yeah. Here's something to ponder, maybe for you listening. If an AI assistant could genuinely guarantee your prototypes would be production ready from day one, no major rewrites needed, would that change how you approach building new features?
Good question.
Would you take more risks, maybe? Move even faster than you already do? I'm genuinely curious how that might shift your whole development mindset. So,
Yes.
okay, fast forward.
Hmm.
When we finally get our hands on Kiro, what should we realistically expect? From what Amazon's shared, they seem to be positioning this as a complete development environment.
Yeah, not just an editor with some AI features bolted on.
Right.
And the fact that it's spec-driven by default, as they say, probably means it will offer a more opinionated development experience.
What does that mean in practice, do you think?
Well, it could be incredibly beneficial if your natural architectural patterns align with how Kiro thinks, right?
Yeah.
It could streamline a lot of decisions for you.
Okay.
However, it might feel restrictive if you prefer much more granular control, or if you have highly customized workflows that don't quite fit its model. Finding that balance between guided development and creative freedom will be absolutely paramount.
And let's not forget, this is Amazon we're talking about. Their track record with integrating tools into their, well, vast ecosystem is pretty unparalleled.
True, you'd have to expect smooth connections with AWS services.
Yeah, I'd anticipate seamless connections, potentially even built-in deployment pipelines. That alone would be a huge draw for developers already deep in the AWS world.
Definitely. But the core question Kiro really aims to answer, the fundamental one, is still, can it truly maintain that creative flow state, that vibe coding feeling that makes rapid prototyping so appealing?
Right.
Or does the added structure, however intuitive they try to make it, ultimately get in the way?
Yeah.
Striking that balance is going to be the key to its widespread adoption, I think.
I'm incredibly eager to actually dive into Kiro as soon as I can get access. I really want to test it on some real-world projects, see how that Claude 4 integration performs in practice, and, most importantly, see if it lives up to this promise of making vibe coding genuinely production ready.
What kind of project would you throw at it first?
That's a good question. What about you listening? What would you want to see tested first in Kiro? Like a simple CRU'd app, something more complex like a tricky algorithm, or maybe go big, a full-stack application from scratch?
This whole deep dive just underscores how rapidly the landscape of software development is evolving right now. AI is clearly moving beyond just simple code generation.
Definitely feels that way.
It's becoming, or aiming to become, a genuine partner across the entire development lifecycle, from that initial spark of an idea all the way to robust deployment.
It truly changes the game for what a developer's workflow can look like. We really do seem to be moving toward a world where AI doesn't just help us write the code faster. It helps us think about the code, architect the systems, maybe even make better design decisions along the way. It feels like a profound shift in how we build software.
And that ultimately is the profound shift, isn't it? AI transitioning from being just a coding assistant, a tool,
Yeah.
to potentially a true collaborative partner in the very strategy and design of our applications. It really does start to redefine what developer even means in this age of AI.
So, thinking about your current setup, what features would truly make you switch from your current IDE to something like Kiro? What are your deal breakers? And what are your absolute must-haves for a tool like this?
Good questions to ask.
Share your thoughts with us. And hey, if you found this deep dive insightful, please pass it along to other developers in your network, especially those thinking about AI-powered tools. The more we discuss these things as a community, the better we can all understand their real-world impact. Keep coding, keep experimenting, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.